active investigation. New tonight, a home in a Cool Acres Haitian village destroyed in an overnight blaze. Investigators still trying to determine exactly what happened. Plus, a teacher brutally attacked by students loses his appeal. The court rules government was not liable. And outraged.
The Christian Council is speaking out against the sexual assault of a minor. I'm Berthan McDermott. I'll have those details for you tonight in our news.
Then, in our news at 7:30, an American woman and 2 Bahamians granted bail. The trio accused of a murder-for-hire plot against her husband. Our news live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to our news live at 7. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Kendino Knowles. A Haitian village off Joe Farrington Road, the scene of a structural fire last night. Police tell us it was around 8:50 when firefighters were called to the Cool Acres community to tame the blaze. Director of Police Fire Services, Chief Superintendent Kenrick Morris, told our news a single-story wooden house was destroyed.
The fire department responded with 4 fire appliances. Upon arrival, they met a single-story, multiple-room wooden structure engulfed with flames. The same has been extinguished with minor, no injuries.
Morris said no one was injured in the fire, but was unable to say how many people lived in the home. Meanwhile, fire investigators say they are still trying to find out exactly what caused the blaze. Chief Superintendent Morris making this appeal to residents.
Just be more conscious when it comes to fires. Don't leave candles unattended like lit in the homes. That's one of the #1 cause. I can't say that's the case here today because we're still conducting our inquiries. But we have to be more fire safety conscious.
All right, and for the latest on that, be sure and visit ournews.bs. 19 passports that were thought to be missing were actually misplaced. That's according to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which confirmed what it called a temporary misplacement in a statement today. Officials said all 19 passports have been found and were never actually removed from the building. The incident involving the sensitive documents leading officials to report the matter to police. The statement continued, further details on the matter would not be released pending an investigation. And now to the Court of Appeal, which has upheld a Supreme Court ruling to dismiss a lawsuit brought by a teacher who was injured during an attack by students at SC McPherson in 2016. Desmond Darville sustained a broken shoulder when students hit him with bottles while taunting him with gay slurs on May 30th. Darville sued the Education Minister and Attorney General for negligence, accusing them of failing to ensure security officers were stationed at the lunch pavilion. Darville was at the school to invigilate Bahamas junior certificate examinations, but following the morning session, Darville was attacked by several students after he went to the lunch pavilion for food. The students pelted him with drink bottles, breaking his shoulder. In its ruling today, the appellate court agreed, though, with the findings of then Senior Justice Indra Charles that government was not liable, as Darville failed to prove the attack was reasonably foreseeable. And the president of the Christian Council says he's outraged after a 9-year-old girl was sexually assaulted. He's sounding the alarm tonight over what he says seems to be a developing rape culture in the Bahamas and believes assailants must be dealt with to the fullest extent of the law. Berthan McDermott reports.
The Bahamas Christian Council is speaking out and condemning the sexual assault of a 9-year-old girl. President Bishop Delton Fernandez says people who commit these offenses must be dealt with to the fullest extent of the law.
So that when these persons who are known to be of this kind of mindset can be monitored, their actions can be tracked, that the full extent of the law will lend itself to them, that maybe they might not even be given bail.
Fernandez says the council stands against what seems to be a rape culture developing in the country. Police tell the tale of how the 9-year-old was playing with friends on Saturday afternoon outside her Lazaretta Road home when a man driving a white Nissan Skyline beckoned to her to get inside the car. The child complied and was taken to an unknown location where she was threatened and sexually assaulted. Fernandez says he's outraged with the matter. He says the church is prepared to work hand in hand with authorities.
The church has no problem in working with the entities. We will have conversations that are being asked of by the state to work with social services, to work with urban renewal, to work with these entities. to see that we can bring the spiritual component, but we also would hit the ground and work some of our programs outside of the walls of the church.
Now, the Christian Council's also hitting back at critics who may say the response is a bit reactive.
Those critics do not go to church. I say that very candidly, because if you think about the outreach programs that are run from every church, RAs, Boys Brigade, Girls Brigade.
Council Vice President Pastor Mario Moxie says the incident is a reminder of the need for everyone to work together.
This speaks to the fact that of human depravity and the depth of sin and why the role of the church is so important. It is because of the message that we preach that men that perpetrate these type of violence can be transformed.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
All right, thanks a lot, Berthany. Well, we've got much more to get to tonight, including some tips for workplace etiquette for summer interns. And speaking of summer, it's time now for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson, he's standing by in the Weather Center. Greg?
Yeah, thanks, Kanina. Happy Tuesday evening, everybody. Another wet day around the islands, especially the northwest Bahamas. We have an upper level trough that's triggering some showers. Show you that in our satellite picture. But it's 86 degrees outside our studios under partly cloudy skies with some showers nearby. Winds are very light out of the east at 5 miles per hour, and factoring in the relative humidity, it feels like a very warm 89 degrees. Temperatures around the islands right now, it is 85 in Freeport, 83 over in Marsh Harbour, Abaco, across in Alistown, Bimini, Great Harbour Key, Nicholstown, Andros, and in Governor's Harbour, you guys are 86. Central Bahamas, 84 in Kemps Bay, 86 is again popping up in Georgetown and in Arthurstown, Cat Island. Copenhagen, San Salvador, 85. Deadman's Key, you guys are 85 as well. And into the southeast Bahamas, 86 in Duncantown, Ragged Island, Curl Hill, Crooked Island, Delectable Bay, Abrahams Bay, actually everywhere. Matthew Town, Inagua, and our neighbors to the southeast, Turks and Caicos Islands, you're all 86 at this hour. Satellite radar composite, that upper level trough triggering a lot of showers and thunderstorms across the northwest Bahamas. Some of those showers were heavy at times and the thunderstorms were strong, but we will continue to see this trend tonight through tomorrow as this upper level trough sags slowly towards our area. So looking for some unsettled weather across the northwest Bahamas. The remainder of the Bahamas quiet. We have a ridge of high pressure that's sticking out of the Atlantic. That's going to dominate the weather in the central and southeast Bahamas tonight through tomorrow. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us to look at the extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, public servant protests last week leads to regularization for some government employees. The state public service minister goes on record tonight. Plus, summer interns are in the spotlight tonight, and if you're one of them, we'll share some workplace etiquette that'll help you stand out from the rest. And later, Grand Bahama comes into focus tonight with a look at an event promoting holistic fun for the entire family when Our News returns. Public servant protests last week leading to regularization for some government employees. The state public service minister on the record tonight saying the issues are being addressed. Marlena Leonard reports.
State Minister for the Public Service, Pia Glover-Roll, says there have been a number of meetings with the Public Service Union President, the Labor Relations Unit Head, and the Ministers of Health and Social Services since last week's protests involving workers from Social Services and the Dental Unit of the Ministry of Health. Last Thursday and Friday, multiple social services locations didn't open. Now, Glover-Roll tells us they're addressing the concerns around regularizing people who've been classed as temporary workers for even years at a time.
So in regard to the social service regularization exercise, which is the employees on the UAP program, we have received 129 recommendations. 92 of those are currently being processed, so they'll be awaiting approval. And then we have another 12 or so that are not quite in the pipeline yet because we're still waiting on documents or the like. We have social services promotions. It remains at 136 that have been processed. There are 37 that are outstanding for various reasons.
She says most often the holdup stems from outstanding documents. Glover-Roll says she hopes more frequent communication can prevent this kind of escalation in the future.
While we maintain good working relationship with all of our trade unions, we encourage our unions to come in, even on a weekly basis, let us know the issues that they are being informed of, just in case we don't know at the Ministry of Public Service, so that we can move to readily address those issues.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
All right, thanks, Marlena. It's summer, and that means many workplaces have welcomed summer interns into their offices. We've certainly done so here at Our News. And if you're one of those students, you may be wondering how to show up as your best self, maybe even wondering how you should dress on the job. Corporate trainer Deborah Pratt says it's something parents should also be discussing with their children.
Any actions that they may be doing on the job that is not appropriate, I think that the employees should be able to assist with the training of the summer students while they are on the job. Now, that's providing that they are doing what they're supposed to be doing as well. Because while the summer students are on the job, the employees, we would hope that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing in terms of the way that they serve their customers, etc., the way that they answer the phone. We would hope that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing so that they can be good examples to the students so that they can look up to them and emulate them.
And as for work attire, she says,
a young lady, a blouse that may be buttoned down or just a nice blouse, and a skirt at an appropriate length, which is usually said to be on the knee or below, but not so much above the knee. And for young men, you want to have your shirt, your button-down shirt in your pants, tucked in your pants pulled up to your waist with your belt on. We want to teach the young people while they are summer students what it means to be professional on the job.
Now, if you are a summer student or the parent of a summer student, our Talia Hall, she's got much more tips coming up from that same corporate trainer that you heard from, coming up in Our News at 7:30. When Our News comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as a Mar-a-Lago property manager ensnared in Trump's classified documents case. Plus, Pee Wee Herman actor and creator Paul Rubens dies at 70. And a close call. 4 Nigerians rescued after 4 days on a ship's rudder by Brazilian authorities. The details when Our News returns. This is our news. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has been indicted on criminal charges by a federal grand jury in special counsel Jack Smith's investigation into efforts to overturn the 2020 election leading up to the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol. The former president was charged with conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, obstruction of and attempt to obstruct an official proceeding, and conspiracy against rights. Trump is scheduled to appear at the Washington, D.C. federal courthouse at 4 p.m. on Thursday. Smith said his office will seek a speedy trial and called January 6th an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy. And speaking of Trump, an aide to the former president appeared in Miami federal court on Monday to face charges he tried to help the former president hide secret documents taken upon leaving office. Freddie Joyner reports.
An aide to former U.S. President Donald Trump appeared in Miami federal court on Monday to face charges he tried to help the former president hide secret documents taken upon leaving office. Carlos de Oliveira, the property manager of Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, Florida, did not enter a plea and was released on $100,000 bond. De Oliveira's lawyer, John Irving, spoke to reporters briefly after the hearing.
The Justice Department has unfortunately decided to bring these charges against Mr. De Oliveira. And now it's time for them to put their money where their mouth is.
De Oliveira is accused of trying to delete security camera footage and lying to investigators. He is charged with 4 counts, including obstruction of justice. He is the second Trump employee accused of conspiring with the former president in the documents case. In June, prosecutors charged Trump and his aide, Walt Nauta, alleging Trump haphazardly stored hundreds of classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago home and enlisted staff to hide them from investigators.
And Overstock has officially relaunched Bed Bath & Beyond online store in the U.S. after acquiring the bankrupt retail chain's intellectual property for $21.5 million in June. The online retailer Overstock dumped its name and became Bed Bath & Beyond. Overstock CEO Jonathan Johnson told the Associated Press the relaunch in Canada has gone smoothly and that the company has added roughly 600,000 new items. Paul Reubens, the actor and comedian of the Pee Wee Herman character, has died. He was 70. Reubens passed away Sunday night after a 6-year struggle with cancer that he kept private. His acting and character was loved by many as he played the main role in films and TV series such as Pee-wee's Big Adventure and Pee-wee's Playhouse. A statement released on his passing saying how much he loved and respected his fans and friends and that he enjoyed making art for all. 4 Nigerians survived 14 days by drinking seawater crashing just meters below them before being rescued by Brazilian federal police in the southeastern port of Vitória. Olivia Chan reports.
This is the moment Brazilian federal police rescued 4 Nigerians who had spent 14 days above the rudder of a cargo ship. The migrants had run out of food and water on their 10th day at sea. Thank God Opemibo Matthew Yeye is one of them.
It was a terrible experience for me. It's been a first time. I've never tried that before, but because I already made up my mind to leave, so I just summoned the courage, but then it's not easy. Seeing those sheep, shaking, I was so scared.
2 of the men have since been returned to Nigeria upon their request. Yeye and the other man, Roman Epimene Friday, have applied for asylum in Brazil.
I pray the government of Brazil and Casamento the migrant should have pity on me, have mercy on me to maybe look for a better job for me to work.
Both men said economic hardship, political instability and crime had left them with little option but to abandon their native Nigeria. Friday said his journey to Brazil began on June 27th when a fisherman friend rowed him up to the stern of the Liberian-flagged Can Wave, docked in Lagos and left him by the rudder. To his surprise, he found 3 men already there, waiting for the ship to depart.
And finally, from the region, Guyana Fire Service is investigating a blaze that destroyed over a dozen boats in the west coast. The boats used to taxi water to different parts of the island. Authorities say the incident happened around 1:49 this morning. They say the cause of the fire is still unknown. Investigations continue. Still to come in our news, today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was August 1st. Then in our news at 7:30, an American woman and two Bahamians accused of a murder plot against her husband granted bail. We've got more from inside the courtroom. Plus, on the defense, the foreign minister claps back after a scathing Washington Post article calls the Bahamas a smuggler's paradise. Why the minister says the story is not balanced. When our news returns. Welcome back to our news. It's time now to turn our spotlight on events that shaped the day that was August 1st. Take a look. On this day in Bahamian history in 1790, Bethel's Meeting House, now known as Bethel Baptist Church, was founded by slaves Prince Williams and Samuel Scriven. It was called a meeting house since at the time, the law forbade black men from holding positions of leadership in a church. The church was built on Meeting Street in Delancey Town in an undeveloped area and was the first church built outside the town of Nassau. Although credited with founding the church, Williams did not serve as its first pastor due to his marriage history. Instead, Sambo Scriven served as the first pastor until his death in 1822. Williams would later succeed him. Then in 1834, the Emancipation Act of 1833 came into effect in the British Empire. In the colony of the Bahamas, the act only affected those in bondage under the age of 6. Everyone else who was called a slave was now classified as an apprentice and required to work 40 hours per week without pay as compensation to their former owners. This was known as the apprenticeship system, and this period was to last up to 6 years but was shortened to 4. All enslaved people were legally freed on August 1st, 1838. And the British government awarded £20 million to slave owners across the British Empire for their loss of property. Then in 1835, 1 year after the Emancipation Act came into effect, the Friendly Society was formed in Grantstown, New Providence. At the time, the area was mostly swamp where liberated Africans and now emancipated slaves lived, grew food, and traded amongst each other. The goal of the organization was to improve the lives of the former enslaved and liberated Africans living in the Bahamas. Continuing in 1838, the apprenticeship period ended in the Bahamas, which gave full freedom to all persons legally held in bondage. Then, in 1891, Asa Hubert Pritchard was born in New Providence to William and Margaret Pritchard. Pritchard was a businessman, politician, and member of the House of Assembly representing Eleuthera. He became Speaker of the House in 1946 and served there until 1962. As a businessman, he opened an English-style tobacco store in 1929 that is now known as the John Bull Group of Companies. He was elected head of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce from 1942 to 1944 and was the first president of the Kiwanis Club of Nassau in 1963. In 1965, Pritchard also received the honor of knighthood for public services in the Bahamas. Today, a business on Robinson and Claridge Roads carries his name. Pritchard died in Nassau on March 18, 1990, at the age of 98. Then in 1973, Milo Boughton Butler was sworn in as Governor General. He succeeded John Warburton Paul, becoming the first Bahamian Governor General, and served from 1973 to 1979 when he passed away. Before becoming Governor General, Butler had a career in politics that spanned 37 years. He was first elected to the House of Assembly in 1937 in a by-election representing the Western District of New Providence. He is also known for his role on Black Tuesday, when he threw the Speaker's hourglass outside Parliament. As a cabinet minister, he held a diverse portfolio including health and welfare, labor, agriculture and fisheries, as well as minister without portfolio. And finally in 2014, a state-recognized funeral was held for Edmund Moxey. Born on Ragged Island in 1933, Moxey was a former member of Parliament who made significant changes as the MP for Coconut Grove and as a senator. He was also a farmer, musician, writer, and activist. He also helped to usher in majority rule in 1967, serving as parliamentary secretary for community development, creating Jumbe Village along with the Jumbe Festival, and documented 50 Bahamian songs along with Timothy Gibson. Throughout his career, he faced many struggles. He joined the PLP in 1950 before leaving in 1977 after a falling out with then Prime Minister Lyndon Pindling. Moxey was remembered as a freedom fighter, someone who would not let the rules of politics keep him away from pursuing his dreams for the people. All right, that historical recap available now at ournews.bs. Well, summer months mean more free time and more family time. And if you're looking for wholesome activities for the entire family, then the Grand Bahama Resilience Center says it's got you covered. Megan Shepard has the story.
We offer yoga. Couples ballroom dancing is one of our hit programs. We also have arts and craft for children, knitting and crocheting. We have a group of senior ladies who come in here on Tuesdays and Fridays, and they knit and crochet.
And if you're still looking for activities for your little ones, there's still time to enroll them in the 4th installment of the Back to Basics program.
We partner with some teachers and we provide math and English, like a jump start at the beginning of August, just to get children. They've been now playing and they've been doing a lot of camps, but just to get them back into the groove of school and to prepare them for the upcoming semester.
The center is also planning to host a one-day seminar for young mothers between the ages of 18 and 25. As for those who still believe there's not much fun to be had on the island outside of the nightlife.
And so definitely come, look at the services that we have to offer. It may be something that you can benefit from personally, or you can get your children involved in, you can get your parents involved in. And that's the beauty of the Grand Bahama Resilience Center, is that we provide services for all ages. The services are free, they're available, and like you said, they're holistic. It's an investment in yourself.
All right, that report there from our Megan Shepard. If you want to watch that story again, and for all of today's top stories, visit ournews.bs. It's going to do it for us in News at 7. Joining us now is Italia Hall with the latest headlines. Italia, are you familiar with the Resilience Center?
Yeah,
I know you.
I am. It's in Lucaya in Grand Bahama. Yeah,
so it's
good
such
what
a
they're
great
doing
effort,
there.
right?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much, Ken. Well, the Foreign Affairs Minister claps back after a scathing Washington Post article calls the Bahamas a smuggler's paradise, and the back-to-school VAT holiday is a go. Here are your latest headlines. Out on bail, new tonight on Our News Live at 7:30. An American and 2 Bahamians accused of a failed murder-for-hire attempt released on bail. Details from inside the courtroom. Also, key evidence revealed in that fatal hit-and-run accident in the capital, plus a smuggler's paradise. That's how an article by an international media outlet is describing the Bahamas. The Foreign Affairs Minister claps back. And later, finding success. A corporate trainer helping interns and summer students with tips on how to conduct themselves on the job. Our News Live at 7:30 is back in a moment.
That part hard to get, you know.
Unless you go to wimauto.com.
Welcome to Our News, and thank you for joining us. I'm Italia Hall. An American woman and 2 Bahamian men accused of conspiring to murder her estranged husband have been granted bail by a Supreme Court judge. Prosecutors say Lindsay Shiver, Terrence Bethel, and Ferron Roberts Jr. made plans to kill Robert Shiver on July 16th. Shiver's bail has been set at $100,000 cash on the condition that she remains in the Bahamas until she receives a voluntary bill of indictment on October 5th. She also has to wear an ankle monitor and keep a curfew. Now, Bethel and Roberts were granted $20,000 bail each. They were also placed on a daily curfew and have to wear an ankle bracelet. All of the accused are prohibited from coming within 100 feet of the complainant and civilian witnesses in the case. A deadly hit-and-run crash in New Providence remains unsolved, and now police are releasing new details about the car involved in the crime. It's all in hopes of nabbing the driver they say was behind the wheel. Traffic division officers releasing this photo of the car they say struck a woman as she was walking on the southern side of Wolf Road near Palm Beach Street just after midnight on Monday. Police say a red Honda that was traveling west along Wolf Road hit the woman, who died on the scene. An important clue in the case is the car has damage on the left front side and undercarriage. Now, if you have any information on the case, you can contact police at telephone numbers 919-991 or the traffic police station at 397-8050. A scathing article posted in the Washington Post last week calling the Bahamas a smuggler's paradise, not sitting well with the Foreign Affairs Minister. The article, which was published on July 27th, refers to last July's failed smuggling operation that killed 17 Haitian migrants after the boat capsized in waters. The Foreign Affairs Minister blasting the article, calling it an exaggeration.
Pieces of this nature, in my view, always come off as exaggerated to the point of the absurd. The piece is simply not balanced enough in that it does not give credit, or sufficient credit, to a small country with limited resources. There is no way, shape, or form, in no way, shape, or form, countenances the smuggling of people to the United States of America.
Mitchell also defending the country's stance on smuggling, saying while the Bahamas is caught in the middle of both the United States and Haiti, it adheres to all international laws.
There's a poor country named Haiti to the south of us, and a rich country to the north of us called the United States, and we're caught in between. We have a tourist economy which must balance ease of entry as against immigration controls. And there is every indication that the Bahamas is fully cognizant of the public policy on smuggling and on trafficking in persons, and we adhere to all the international agreements. The Washington Post article should therefore be taken, in my view, with a grain of salt.
All right, the Bahamas Christian Council says it hasn't been consulted on the recent Protection Against Violence bill that was passed in Parliament and now set to go before the Senate. President Delton Fernandez says if this is how government wants to deal with the church, then so be it.
This is what they decided to do. I mean, we got exclusion. The bill was sent to us. We assumed that there would be a gathering again. Apparently there was a gathering. I feel this is their strategy. And this is the third administration that I'm sitting as president under. It happens with them all.
There's been much pushback to the Protection Against Violence bill, as many say it's far from the proposed gender-based violence bill. In Parliament, Social Services Minister Obi Wilgecombe said it's important to ensure the bill does not discriminate against anyone. However, Fernandez says it's better we all work together.
And after a while, they come around and understand that it's better if we work together than to try to work your plans behind closed doors. I'm waiting for the cannabis bill, so, it's at the Parliament, I understand. So my point being is this is the kind of stuff that gets to a point where at the end of the day, the church has to give strong pushback because we don't know. I mean, like you're saying that there's a bill at the House, and I hear some of the voices saying it's different from the one. We'd like a copy of the different one.
Parliament must be given the resources to perform their function and generate revenue. This coming from the leader of government business in the Senate, Michael Halkitis, as he moved the Parliamentary Services Bill in the Senate Monday afternoon.
So this bill establishes a parliamentary service which shall consist of the clerk and the officers and the staff, and it lists the functions of the parliamentary service. It also establishes a parliamentary commission which oversees the parliamentary service. So there is, instead of being governed strictly by the public service, there will be a parliamentary commission that will be responsible for the operations of the Houses of Parliament, inclusive of the human resource function.
Halkitis says he believes the bill will lead to a more efficient and transparent operation of Parliament.
It will allow us to offer better service to the public, remembering that the main function of the legislature is to be accountable to the people who elected them. And of course, Madam President, we look forward someday to new parliamentary facilities again, not so that we can have fancy offices and digs for ourselves, but so that we might better be able to undertake our primary responsibility.
All right, warm temperatures outside the Our News studios this evening following a few thunderstorms this morning. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with a first look at weather. Greg?
Yeah, thanks, Natalia, and welcome everybody for a quick check on conditions outside our studios and around the islands. 86 degrees outside our studios right now under partly cloudy skies. It is humid. We have a couple of isolated showers nearby. The winds are out of the east, very light, 5 miles per hour, and it feels like temperature is at 89 degrees. Satellite and radar composite, showers and thunderstorms associated with an upper level trough that's dropping across the northwest Bahamas, or very close to it. That's going to continue to keep an unsettled weather pattern across the northern islands. So more showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. High pressure dominates the central and southeast Bahamas. That trend will continue tonight through tomorrow. That's your first quick check on conditions around the island. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on Our News, today marks the start of the crawfish season.
How hard the fisherman really waits to catch the lobster and then come in and get a low price.
Plus, if you're a parent getting your kids ready for school next semester, then things just got a whole lot easier. This as the back-to-school VAT holiday gets the green light. And finding your success. A corporate trainer shares tips for interns on the job this summer. Find out how you can stand out from the rest when Our News returns.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station, open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
Doctors Hospital has reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. Your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new, modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnosis and true personalized treatment begin. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshos.com.
If new, Heineken Silver was a riveting Viking saga.
Last the 12th, your family tortured my first wife and stole my second favorite goat. Now you want to marry my daughter. Okay.
All the taste, no bitter endings. Smooth, fresh, silver.
Crawfish season officially opens today, and local fishermen and vendors are looking forward to this year's catch as they anticipate a big profit. Our Joshua Williams reports.
After a 4-month hiatus, fishermen are hitting the waters this morning as today marks the official opening of crawfish season. We ran into fisherman Al Ferguson, who says while he is happy, this year will be business as usual.
It ain't too excited, not to me. I mean, and that's a every year thing to me, you know. But I just pray God they come at a good sale for the crawfish when people come in with them. They pay I hope they pay good. They can start off at $13, $14 a pound, up to $15 a pound, be good.
Gerald Bain shares that while fishermen will be competing, they're still rooting for each other.
I've been doing this now for 27 years. 27? But all fishermen like family. Everyone knows one another, you know? Every island.
Fishermen from other islands, including Spanish Wells, a popular fishing community in the country, will also take full advantage of the season. But for those selling the crawfish in New Providence, a profit can only be made of resident support.
You know, after all the summer being home, we have school fees, kids to put back in school. So, you know, this is one of the #1 month that all fishermen try to catch as much lobster as possible. They have to survive just as well. It's the price of gas and fuel and maintaining the boat, also the people on the boat, very expensive. So we advise that, you know, everybody come and patronize the local behaving fishermen.
Brown also sharing this time is especially important as the season falls during hurricane season.
Come down, you know, it's the storm season too. Imagine if storm due choose to come next week or week after next. You know, that's a problem for fishermen. So indirectly, you know, be looking out for the best. We hope that everything goes well and all fishermen could actually profit.
Reporting for our news, I'm Joshua.
All right, great information. Thanks for that, Josh. Well, the back-to-school VAT holiday is a go. The Department of Inland Revenue announcing today that this year the holiday will be from August 19th to September 10th. This means several back-to-school items will be zero-rated for that period. Some of those items include personal computers and related accessories, school supplies including pens, pencils, textbooks, binders and folders, and hair accessories. Miscellaneous items are also on the list, including printer ink, hand sanitizer, face masks, and disinfectant wipes and sprays. Clothing, footwear, and bags are also on the list. Now, for the full list, you can check out the Our News social media pages. It's now August, usually a time when lots of students and interns are out of school, and while some may be at home for the summer, fathers, they're on the job. Tonight, a corporate trainer and motivational speaker is talking to young people about how to conduct themselves on the job. Let's take a look.
Business space that I called, and I was able to tell by just how the person sounded who answered the phone. First of all, she did not sound like she wanted to be there. She literally sounded as if she was sleeping, and I was able to tell that she sounded a bit young. So I then asked her if she was a summer student, to which she replied yes. And I asked her if she minded me giving her some advice.
That's corporate trainer Deborah Pratt recounting her recent experience with a summer student at a business. She says as students gain employment this summer, they must ensure that they know how to conduct themselves.
It should be more than them just being there just to make monies before they go back to school. But it should also be a time when they can actually gain some knowledge, learn while they are on the job.
And to the employer,
you can probably have, during those slow periods when you really don't have anything for the students to do, have them sit and observe the employees.
And as to how summer students and interns should dress in a professional environment,
I know the young persons may say, well, I'm only a student, I'm still in school, I don't have that many clothes or anything that I can wear. But if you are on a professional job for the summer, you definitely would want to have at least, even if it's one or two outfits, or if it's one skirt, as we would normally say to young people, if you have one black skirt, maybe you may have one black pants and just one or two blouses that you can just alternate.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual fund in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
When our news comes back from the break, another chance for young men from the inner city community, a local organization stepping in to assist.
An NBA star gives back to his community, and our top high school basketball players will play against international competition. Don't go anywhere, our sports is coming right up.
Did you get caught in the early afternoon showers while the rain is gone and temperatures already heating up again? Greg is back with your extended forecast when our news continues. Stay with us.
Today's sports update is sponsored by Michelob Ultra, distributed in the Bahamas by Jimmy's Wines and Spirits.
This is our news. Welcome back. NBA star and my fellow Grand Bahamian Buddy Hield gives back to the kids in his hometown. And high school basketball teams from abroad are set to play in New Providence. Here's Tage Adderley with a check on sports. Tage?
Thanks, Natalia. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Our Sports. Buddy Hield held his basketball camp in Grand Bahama over the weekend. The NBA star was in his element, giving back to his hometown. Buddy Hield held a back-to-school giveaway this past weekend on his home island of Grand Bahama. The Indiana Pacers star donated school supplies to children from his home island. He also donated to a number of youth programs and to the Northern Bahamas Council for the Disabled.
It's an exciting time every year. Just put smiles on the kids' face, take pressure off the parents who can't afford kids' bags in schools, and just give out a few prizes, laptops, bikes, all the stuff. And just having fun in the community. It's always good to have fun in the community. Come down, free food, DJ, music, just having a good time.
Now, Buddy Hield will go down in history as one of the greatest basketball players the country's ever produced, but he will also be remembered as a genuine, caring soul. While we're talking about hoops, the Caribbean Hoops Fest is coming to the Bahamas. High school teams from the New York area will be in New Providence to take on our best.
It's where we bring international teams, primarily from New York City, to compete with the Bahamian talent here.
That's Donald Francois, organizer of the Caribbean Hoops Fest. The event, which will be held from August 19th to the 20th, will pit high school schools from the New York area against teams from New Providence.
New York teams, one from a real high level high school, Archbishop Malloy, coming here to play 6 Bahamian teams. I travel all over the Caribbean, and the talent pool here is incredible. It's actually, they're at the level of the guys in the United States. That was impressive. And they're very proud of what they do.
Tickets will be on sale in the Kendall G. L. Isaacs Gymnasium. And for more updates, you can follow Caribbean Hoops Fest on social media. That'll do it for sports today. I'm Tage Adderley.
Still ahead on our news tonight, a group of young men getting another chance. This as a local organization launches a new mentorship program. Plus, some showers today, but temperatures still continue to heat up. Greg is back in the Weather Center when our news continues. Welcome back to our news. More rain in the forecast this week, but temperatures are expected to remain hot. Greg is back in the Weather Center with your extended forecast. Greg?
Yeah, thanks again, Natalia, and welcome back, everybody, for a final check at weather. Upper level trough is dropping across Florida. That has a frontal boundary attached to it that extends out of the Atlantic across the north central Florida. But it is pulling some moisture across the northwest Bahamas. You notice a lot of the greens still across our area. Some showers and thunderstorms associated with that trough will continue across our area as this trough sags and then stalls just to the north of the Bahamas. But the rest of the Bahamas remaining quiet. We have a little bit of moisture across the southeast Bahamas due to the southwesterly flow aloft. But that will not be a problem for you guys down there. As I mentioned, showers and thunderstorms will be the name of the game for the northwest and central Bahamas tonight to tomorrow as that frontal boundary sags towards the area. Tropics quiet right now. We do have one system that we're still watching. The National Hurricane Center is giving that a medium to high chance for formation. That one will probably be short-lived. It's going to quickly move towards the north, attach to this upper level trough and swing out towards the northeast and stay away from more land masses over the next several days. This is how things will be shaping up at that brief window of development, as I mentioned, sharing by the end of the week, and of course Saharan dust coming across the Atlantic. Future forecast showing those the moisture associated with the upper level trough across our area still hanging across the northwest Bahamas through Wednesday and into Thursday. Things still a little bit unsettled, but a couple isolated showers in the central Bahamas as well. Doing any boating across the northwest and central Bahamas tonight to tomorrow. Very nice out there. Variable winds at 5 to 10 knots. They will fall light and variable at times. Seas will be running 1 to 3 feet over the ocean. High tide is at 8:26 tonight. For the southeast Bahamas, an east to southeasterly flow at 10 to 15 knots expected. Seas running 2 to 4 feet over open waters. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In your extended forecast, quiet weather through tomorrow. Couple isolated showers expected on Thursday, but the weekend looking rather nice and hot. Maybe some isolated showers on Sunday as well, but next week looking pretty quiet as well again. Temperatures will stay near the 90-degree mark, so it's going to be warm. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody.
All right, thanks, Greg. Well, inner city youth are getting another chance. A new mentorship program launched today by Roots of Change in conjunction with Atlantis and a number of local corporations called the Mirror Mentorship Art, Sports and Technology Program. Now, the initiative seeks to mentor at-risk youth for a week by prominent Bahamian men living here locally and abroad. Vice President for Roots of Change, Rowena Poitier-Sutherland, says this is what's needed to save the country's youth.
Boys turn into men, and so we have to pour into them and help them develop into responsible citizens. And who better to do that than men? Mentorship is so important. They need modeling to know exactly how to cope and to have the tools to do that. And so that's precisely what the Mirror program is going to do. And not only that, this is a sustainable program that is tracked with data that can then inform us as a nation and what they need to impact them.
Organizers say the program is slated to continue for an additional 2 years.
It's a little emotional because, again, support is so fundamental. Sometimes, you know, the road to success can be very lonely. It requires a lot from you, and having support really makes a difference in how we transfer through our processes and our journeys in life. And so walking in and seeing these young men and realizing that we have been a part of making an impact is truly heartwarming, and we're grateful and honored that we were even considered to be a part of this program.
Now, that was the mother of NBA star Kai Jones, who is one of the standout members for the program. And to see that story again, of course, you can visit ournews.bs. And with that, we thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.